Hey, looks like we're live. Looks like we're just starting up. Let's see if it works this time. Okay, we're booting up. How's everyone doing? Howdy ho, Hingleberry Hill. Hello, Apple Sheeple. Preposterous Pixel. I like that name. How's everyone doing tonight? Looks like the stream's just going up now. Very good. I know you're the real Apple Sheeple, but I want to make a YouTube channel as well. Is it okay with you if I use this name? Of course, it's not patented. My name is Tailosive Tech. My nickname is Apple Sheep. That's because it's too broad of a term for any one person to cover on. It would be absurd for me to say, like, I'm the only person who could be the true Apple Sheep. That's not true. Hello, Beth Gan Fan 134. Yes, it's 11. It's late. We're trying to reach different demographics. We're trying to reach people in different time zones. This is the late night live stream. That's what you're watching tonight. It's very late for me. I'm very tired right now, but it's okay. I do it for you. Am I feeling better? Yeah, I am feeling a lot better. I've been sick for the last couple months, really. I got allergies for a long time, and then it would feel better when I was in San Diego and when I would be in... I went on a camping trip recently with Louise, and I would go on trips. I'd feel fine. When I come back home, it would all start up again. So I definitely had like a... allergic reaction to my room or something, but for the most part it's been going away. I'm a little sick, but for the most part it's fine. What do you think of Johnny Ive not making one of his epic videos for neither the iMac Pro or the HomePod? I feel like Johnny Ive, doesn't he like narrate them or something? Maybe he's just saving them for the iPhones and the Apple Watch and the AirPods. I believe he narrated those things in particular. Apple Sheep here also, great. Oh, any thoughts on Dunkirk? I'd like to talk more about Dunkirk, but this is the tech channel, not the movie review channel, and my opinion's pretty meh. It's okay. I think people are giving it too much credit a little bit, and believe me, I'm a huge Chris Nolan fan. But anyway, more tech questions. What Apple design do you not like the most? Which is an interesting question. Like, if I had to pick an Apple design that I think was a bad idea, that's a tricky one. Okay, I think everything looks so cool, though. I like my iPhone. I don't like the camera bulges, but that's across everything. I don't like the way the camera bulge looks on the iPad and the iPhone. So, that's too broad. I can't really just say that. We look over here, we've got a bunch of iPods and iPhones over here. I really didn't ever care for, well... At the time, I cared for it, but looking back at it, I think now that the 6th generation iPod Nano looked kind of weird. I always thought from the beginning the idea that it has like these rounded off bezels, but it still has like aluminum edges on it, feels a little bizarre. Like the moment I saw that, I always noticed something about it. I was like, that doesn't seem right. But anywho, what Apple design do you like the most? You can't go wrong with iPhones. I think iPhones are by far the prettiest product to unbox. Apple Watches would be up there for me, though. I think Apple Watches are extremely photogenic, and iMacs, I think, are great designs. I think they're due for a refresh, though. I think that the new iPhone edition look is kind of sloppy, to be honest, to have that cutout at the top, but I get that they want the display to go edge to edge. I get it. What feature are you most wanting in an Apple product? That's a good question. There's lots of things, of course, but one that I'm particularly excited for is more waterproofing. That's one thing in specific I really love about my Apple Watch, is that I don't have to worry about it getting wet. It surprised you how big of an impact that actually has on my life. Like, to be able to take something in the shower or into a pool or to spill water on it and not worry about it, I think that kind of changes the way I use my product. See, a lot of people kind of overhype, I think, the fact that the iPhone's just going to be OLED, it's going to be edge to edge, we're going to remove the physical home button. I don't think that changes the way you use your phone very much. Like, literally everyone talking about, lots of people are talking about embedding Touch ID underneath the display and why like that needs to happen, or if it doesn't happen, Apple will be a failure. It's all writing on this. Can they embed the fingerprint reader in the display? That's the big question. even if they figure that out, it doesn't change the way you use your phone. In fact, you would use it the exact same way you use your phone already. Touch ID would be in the exact same place. It would just, the display would be there instead. What drastically does that change? I'm assuming that Apple might add little third-party options to have buttons at the bottom with all that new added space, but for the most part, I don't think that changes the way you use your phone very much. Whereas for me, if a phone suddenly has the capability to be waterproof and I can take it into a pool or the shower, things I do all the time, because here in California it's hot, we're wet all the time, that changes the way I use my phone, because no longer I have to say, oh, I gotta go take a shower, I gotta put my phone to the side, oh, I gotta go swimming, I'm gonna put the phone off to the side here, I'm gonna leave it on the table and not interact with it. But if suddenly all of my devices become waterproof, that changes the way I use them. I suddenly feel a lot more confident about them. And I know that's not the most classic answer. I know most people care more about removing bezels. And I admit removing bezels does look cool. I'm just saying it doesn't change the way you use your product. It keeps it fairly basic. I saw a good question earlier who asked, how does the psoriasis affect your life? Which is actually a very original question I haven't seen on this. Who asked that? Ivan? Ivan asked that question. It's actually pretty... not to whine too much. I don't mean to say that it's this giant bird and I have psoriasis, but it is pretty freaking annoying. The biggest problem with it is it's affected by stress. So as in life things get more stressful and your heart rate is more irregular, it gets worse. So you can't really tell in this live stream, because the quality is not that great, how it looks right now. But I have to say that it looks pretty terrible. Because there's a lot of things going on right now, and they're all going great, but I'm working very, very hard on lots of different things, and the stress shows both in my head, and it's on the back of my head and on my hands, and that gets annoying, and you have to put on this medicine that stings, and I don't mean to say that I'm not living a happy life. I'm very grateful for the life I'm living right now. So many things are going well, but there's just a lot of responsibility, and that adds added pressure. And that, for those who don't know, psoriasis is a skin disease that makes you produce more skin cells than you need, and it results in lots of big blotches on your hands and head and all over. It's disgusting. Okay. You talked about Tesla and who should it kill in extreme situation. I think the user should have all the options and the user should choose one. Writes Ambit's private account. Yeah, that's definitely one scenario I think that might happen. I feel like that's not the most likely scenario. I feel like given certain laws being passed and laws being enacted right now, it's more likely that it would be more of a, how do you say, it would be more of a, it will always try to protect, it would always aim for minimal casualties no matter what. That would mean killing the driver if it meant saving 5 pedestrians. I think that's what the laws are going to default to. But I could totally understand when you first buy the Tesla, it asks you what do you want it to favor. Least amount of casualties, saving your life, the customer. Ooh, cough still coming back. And it's a very difficult discussion because I think all points of view have very good points. Everyone who has a say in this field of saying that it should always protect the driver, or it should always go for minimal casualties, or it should always favor people who are following the law. All those have good points, but they also have counterpoints. So that's why I like that discussion so much, and I like to hear other people's point of view, is because I don't think there's an easy answer. I think that's a interesting discussion that I talked about today, and I like that topic. I love having that discussion with people about which one should we predetermine in our cars so that they have a bias of who to save and what to do in an instant where someone has to die. That has been the given. There's no way you can brake in time. There's no way you can swerve to find a way to survive. If we're assuming there's a scenario where not a single human being can survive, what does the car do? Does it leave it up to chance? I saw a lot of people saying that was the fact that if that exact situation was presented to a human wouldn't have time to decide Should I save myself or should I save other people? It would be completely random, which is entirely possible. If it was completely random, then shouldn't we program our cars to be completely random and not have any bias? Don't tell it always protect the driver or always go for minimal casualties. Don't tell it any of that. Again, all very valid points, and I love hearing all the different points of view. What's this mean? What are people saying? Tech guy computer? What are we talking about? Anywho. Crater asks, should I get the jet black iPhone 7 Plus or the matte black? I am going to go caseless most of the time, and scratches don't bother me too much. Crater, first of all, no one should be buying an iPhone right now. We are a month and a half away from the unveiling of the next generation iPhones. If anything, just wait to see what the new iPhones have to offer. Even if the 7S in addition don't excite you, you're not interested in buying those, the 7 Plus, matte black or jet black, they're going to be cheaper in a month and a half. So don't get ripped off. Please don't buy one now. And personally, if you don't care about scratches, I think jet black looks great. I've been using jet black for the last couple months. Yeah, you can notice the scratches on it. That is something that starts to show up, but it's only in certain light, and for the most part, it still looks very clean for me. Let's see. The problem with teaching them morality is at this point, you should still have control of the wheel. If all cars were driverless, then there would only be the civilian aspect. Okay. Well, Rowan, I know what you're saying, that like if all cars drove themselves, that there shouldn't be problems like this ever occurring. There should be like a bus or a neighboring car that puts the driver in danger, and the pedestrians on the road may cause problems. But keep in mind that Elon Musk wants there to be completely level 5 autonomous vehicles like in 2 years. He's saying that by like 2019, hopefully. And because laws usually take longer to pass than usual, we could be generous and say that maybe it happens in 2020, maybe it happens in 2021. But still, within the fairly soon future, we're going to have cars that drive completely all by themselves. They'll be able to operate autonomously, but they're going to be on the road with human drivers. So we're going to be, for the next decade or so, in this transition phase where there are human drivers that are driving Ford trucks from the 60s, alongside Tesla Model 3s with the latest level 5 autonomy that are capable of driving from LA to New York without any driver intervention. With that being possible, these kinds of questions have to be answered. It's not going to be a quick, no one's autonomous to completely autonomous transition. That's not happening. It's going to be a very slow, gradual transition into full autonomy in the future. So until then, we have to answer questions like this because there's going to be difficult decisions for the cars to make. As long as autos are better at driving than humans, I'd be thrilled, and I don't really care who the car decides to save. It will save more lives than leaving humans in charge. Adam Peterson, that's also a good point. Statistically, I think it's easy to say that as self-driving cars become more implemented in today's roads, more lives are going to be saved. That's a given. Like, as the years go on, it's going to be a really great thing that these self-driving cars are going to be protecting their drivers at any cost. And it's important to remember also that I'm talking about situations like in today, if it has to kill someone. That's not a rare scenario. In fact, 1 out of 100 times when there's a car crash, there's likely going to be a way to avoid all human tragedy. There's most likely at all times going to be a method the car can take that results in no lives being lost. And I can guarantee you that the computers and the software that engineers and people at Tesla and other companies are working on are making cars that can respond within a moment's notice, that can save the driver's life and neighboring car's life in an instant. And for the most part, car collisions are going to go down drastically because the DMV is requiring, you have to implement certain safety features on all cars now, like the auto braking system. So you now are required on all new cars to create an auto braking system so that if they're running towards someone, the car will brake itself in order to save the driver from, hitting whatever's in front of it. Like as time goes on, as cars become newer and they get more implemented in the market, it will soon become a given that it's very hard to drive your car into a wall, into another car. And as time goes on, of course, these self-driving cars are going to predict crashes before they happen, avoid them, and overall, crashes themselves are going to go down drastically. In fact, I saw a report that said in the United Kingdom, they've made it their goal that by the year 2040, it will be illegal to sell a gas or diesel powered car. So they're already planning on. It is kind of a bit of a distant future, but it's likely one we're all going to live to see. Where in the United Kingdom, it will be impossible to buy a gas powered car. So they're pushing electric, they're pushing self-driving and safety. That's going to happen. So either way, there's good things to look forward to. I'm not trying to say that in the future all self-driving cars are going to just kill us randomly. That's not what's going to happen. Will you get an Alexa to compare to your HomePod in the future? Asked Dylan R. Yeah, that's a good question. I've thought about it. There's definitely been times where I was looking on Facebook yard sale, and there's been Amazon Echo Dots or the full-fledged ones or the Looks, and I've been tempted a little bit to buy and review. I really can't wrap my brain around the idea of a dedicated smart assistant. I just don't know what I would use it for. I honestly don't know. To be honest, I'm the kind of guy who really doesn't use Siri very much, even on his phone. I could definitely probably use it more if I wanted to, but I can't find a good use for it, because most of the time, especially with things like Alexa and Siri, they're kind of advertising how smart she is and it's kind of hands-free, where I really prefer to just use my hands and to touch the screen. So I know that may surprise you, but I'm not much of a talk to a computer kind of guy. I don't think that's intuitive. I still think that all the major digital assistants have big problems that they have yet to solve, and I think they have miles to go before they are actually user-friendly and usable, like, you know, The Rock uses that in the stupid Siri ad. But I'm just not a big digital assistant guy. So that's why I'm not terribly eager to review an Alexa and compare it to Google Home. I know my fan base pretty well, and I know that talking about things I want to talk about doesn't get a lot of views, and especially when I talk about things that aren't Apple related, it doesn't perform very well. That's why I haven't dedicated myself to giant investments into the competition's niche, the smart speakers. And the HomePod isn't much different than Siri on my phone, so I don't think the HomePod's primary goal is to make a speaker that is really smart. I think the HomePod is more focused on quality and sound, which I'm far more excited to have, because I want to hook things up easily. I want, like, the Apple ecosystem to be really nice, you know, with my Apple TV and my iPad and my iPhone. To have a speaker that is really high quality, that would be great. Anyway, and again, I know there's a lot of people commenting things in the chat, but if you definitely want your comment answered, just remember Super Chats. You got to go on Safari, whether it be on mobile or desktop, in order to send a Super Chat, but I will definitely read the Super Chats. Okay. Connor Brand says, how do you think the Galaxy S8 will compare to the iPhone 8 when it comes out? It's going to be a classic battle, to be honest. Like, I'm thinking about it already. Like, I can already tell most major YouTubers are going to say that's a better buy because you get the headphone jack, it's USB-C, the display is curved edges, looks cooler. I can already see a lot of people saying that the iPhone edition's edge-to-edge display doesn't look as cool as the S8's Infinity display. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot of bashing on the iPhones, though, because they're going to say, like, well, people have had, what do you call it? Wireless charging on Samsung phones for years. That's not a new feature. It's like, yeah, for iOS users, it is. Why do we need to use Safari? Because YouTube is stupid and they don't let you, or Apple is stupid and they don't let you super chat on the YouTube mobile app. If you're on Chrome or on a desktop, super chat should be easy. But either way. I need Buds. What do you recommend? John, I'm always going to recommend AirPods. Those are the best pair of headphones I've ever wore. I still love them. I still use my AirPods on a daily basis. I'm always going to say that. Can't wait for Saturday shorts. Yes, there's, for those who don't know, a second channel I work on. There's several channels I work on, but one of them is simply called Tailosive with no subtext. And on that one, we're making weekly Saturday shorts. So if you haven't yet, you should subscribe to that. There's going to be a new one out this Saturday about closing my activity rings. It's already been made and published. It's just waiting to be scheduled. And I'm doing a lot of work on that channel right now. I'm actually very, very tired because I spent about 4 hours today working on a top secret project for the main Tailosive channel. And you're hearing about this pretty early. And I want to keep it completely secret for that channel. But I'm codenaming it Project Photon. And it's, if I reference that. We're back. Hello. Hello. Let me plug this in here. Sorry about that, everyone. We had a problem. The phone overheated because it was testing new things. Let's see if this is working. Give me a second here. Let's see if I can connect. Get us back online. Sorry about that, everyone. It seems like we can never have a stream that goes perfectly well. There's always got to be a problem. Alright, let me see if I can get the chat open. Sorry about that. Okay. We can never have a perfect stream. There's always got to be some problem. Okay, live streaming. Let's get to this tab. Let's do 2 live streams at once. Jeez. What do I do? Which one is the legit one? Health is good. Would you recommend switching from an iPhone to... Let me make sure that... Can I make sure that the other one is off? Okay. I got the chat. Hello, everyone. Coming back in. The phone crashed. Give me a second here. Let me get to the second live stream. Everyone might still be there. Or maybe they're not. I don't know. I'm going to say that the stream crashed. Go to my channel for a new one. Hold on. Just updating everyone. Yeah, there's very few people watching because for some reason Google's saying I'm live streaming 2 at once. That's not true. Everyone leave the old stream. There we go. Should be back. Okay, I'm gonna hit stop. Okay, I think we're back. Sorry about that. I think I got it squared away. Sup, everyone. Simply Tech, Sports Analyzer, Benjamin Short. You deserve way more subs. Thank you very much. That means a lot. Should I still buy the AirPods? They're finally in stock at a local store, and I'm thinking about buying them. Yes, you should buy the AirPods. They're in stock, definitely. Do it while you can. Goodness. Please. Please do. It's so worth it. Okay. Death to the iPod. Yeah, that's what the next tech video is on tomorrow. It's about the death of the iPods. So sorry about that crash for those of you rejoining the stream here. What happened was today during my I did another episode of Tailosive Unboxed. I got a bunch of mail in my PO box. I got a new phone case that lets me wirelessly charge my phone, which is kind of neat to get me in the style of charging with the new iPhone 8. But you have to put on that case in order for it to wirelessly charge. And when I did that, the phone overheated and we got a temperature warning, so the stream crashed. But I took the case off. It's breathing now. It should be fine. If it crashes again, I apologize in advance. But anywho, let's hopefully get everyone back in order where we belong. Are they still on back order 6 weeks? Yeah, I think AirPods are going to stay that way just because there's so many companies that buy them all up. And, you know, they buy them all up because they know demand is so high. And they paint them and they customize them and they just buy them up because they know if they have them in stock, they can sell them at a higher price. Don't expect the shipping time for AirPods to go down, okay? The demand is high. It's going to stay that way. You really just need to wait the 6 weeks, put the money down. It's worth it, believe me. Was the wireless charging case by Mophie? No, Mophie did not contact me. This was by a different company. I can't even pronounce the name. But I will be. You'll be seeing the unboxing for that case tomorrow when I upload the new Tailosive Unboxed episode. Okay. Do you think the Brownie Studios asks, do you think AirPods will ship with the iPhone edition? Awesome videos. Yeah, I really do hope so. Though I hope they do, but I feel like they won't, because I think we're wishing for too much at once. The AirPods are they're a very premium product, and they're very expensive, and I think that would be kind of a knife in the heart for Apple to start including a pair with every single iPhone. There might be instances where it is included, and maybe for the default it's not. I think that's too much money for each iPhone, so I'm predicting that no, I don't think it'll happen. It'll come with Lightning headphones. However, what I personally want, of course, is AirPods to be included. Drew, can I send you a sofa that hails from NC? Yes, you can. You have my P.O. Box number. You know what to do. Yeah, for those of you who don't know what happened, the phone overheated because I had a third-party phone case on that I just unboxed today, and clearly it overheats the phone too quickly. Okay. So you're going to be disappointed with the iPhone design, says Ricky Brooks. Yeah, honestly, I know that everyone is desperate for a iPhone redesign. Everything has to look different, right? But I personally have no problem with the way the iPhone 7 looks right now. I think that's a great design, and I think on the edition, we're getting too distracted with making sure that bezels are thinner and not focusing on functionality, as in if we have to make decisions like, does Touch ID stay, or do we move Touch ID because we can't figure out a way to implement Touch ID into the display. So we're like sacrificing functionality for the sake of making the phone look cool. I don't believe in that. I always think functionally the phone should be thought of first and aesthetically second. But I guess Apple's always been about aesthetics first. But especially when we've gotten used to Touch ID being here for so long. But if they figured out a way, of course, with 3D Face Unlock to be better than Touch ID, then of course I welcome it. Anyway, we got our first super chat of tonight. Thank you very much to Mario Cortines. Max says, MacBook Pro 2015 13-inch or iPad Pro 10.5. I'd use it for school, video editing for YouTube, and media consumption. Can't decide on which to get. You know my opinions. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I'm always going to say buy the newer thing. It will last you longer, and it'll mean you don't have to buy a newer one in the future. 2015 13-inch MacBook Pro is a while ago now. That's a good laptop, but it's almost 2 years old, and that doesn't seem like a lot, but in technology years, you're starting out the gate with an outdated product. So I do think that with light video editing, you have a great app called LumaFusion on the App Store, which works great with the 10.5-inch iPad. It's been getting updates. They've been fixing a lot of the problems I had with it last time. So there's definitely a video editing app out there, and I think the 10.5-inch iPad is a great media consumption device. I use it for that every single day, and the ProMotion features are amazing. But you know me, I'm always going to default get the newer thing because that'll last you longer, and that will be worth it in the long run. So thank you, Mario. Keep in mind that I have to read the super chats while I'll keep up with the main chat as much as I can without reading like crazy. Boom Flare says, hi, Tailosive Tech. Would you recommend switching from an iPhone 6 to a 7 Plus when it gets cheaper? Well, yeah, if it's cheaper, why not? Yeah. Or save your money and get yourself a good phone like a 7S. Do you think we'll get a portless iPhone yet one day? Yes. Amin Timani, I think that we're closer to it than we think. I feel like Apple's going to make that leap to a portless design before anyone thinks we're ready. Oh no. Did we lose connection? I'm worried. No, we're still here. Oh, okay. I think I had a little freeze on my end. My connection on the laptop was like frozen for a second, but it's coming in. We're fine. Sorry about that. But to answer your question, Yes, the portless iPhone is going to come before we're ready, because Apple is always the first company to make that decision that we can remove the last port before we're ready. I've said this a lot of times, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I feel like I'm already working on this whole argument of switching to wireless charging only and never charging with a cable again. Everyone's going to be like, but I like to use my phone while it's charging, and you can't do that with wireless charging because it has to be on the pad. And I'm going to have to say that, you know, with the new L-shaped 2-cell batteries, your battery life's a lot longer, so they're removing that time in which you have to use your phone and charge it at the same time. They're saying that's going to be a much more rare occasion. But for the most part, yeah, you're going to have to change the way you use your phone, because you won't have that option of charging it while using it anymore, unless, of course, you have the pad. Maybe that'll encourage people to use more battery cases, and in the future with a portless iPhone, the battery case will simply be a little snap-on back. It won't be much different than a phone case like this, because it'll just have the battery in it, store it, wirelessly charge it. So that's what I think the future holds. And I can already see people complaining about it. Thank you for your donation, Darvin M. Thank you for your super chat. I appreciate that. You didn't leave a comment, but thank you. Instead of purchasing the iMac Pro, why don't you buy a new camera in studio? We don't want to review that bad. Well, I get that maybe you don't, but you got to look at it not from just a couple people's perspective. You have to look at it as, what are most of the people when the iMac Pro comes out going to be interested in? I can tell you for sure that people don't really care that much about a new camera. Most of my audience favors the commentary and the insight more than they do the production value, because honestly, getting a new camera wouldn't update the production value of my videos much at all. It would look a little bit better, but I bet that half my audience wouldn't even notice. And I do intend on buying a new camera. It's just you have to buy... I've already got the next camera I want lined out, but I need to buy a computer that is capable of editing the footage I want to record, which is the GH5. That's my next camera, which will be capable of shooting 4K video at 60 frames a second, which will be great because I don't have any cameras that can do that yet, and I think that's kind of the next step in terms of resolution and quality for videos. And I want to go back to having interchangeable lenses, so the camera's coming, but I have to buy a computer that is capable of editing it first before I make that leap to the next camera. And I think that the iMac Pro is actually going to be something a lot of people are going to click on and watch, because that'll be a new product, a product people are excited about. I am the Apple sheep, I'm not the Lumix sheep, so anywho, that's what's happening. Let's see. Do you think the Mac Mini will get a refresh this year? I don't, Thomas Monks. I think the Mac Mini is not getting enough attention for Apple to want to refresh it at all. I need a computer, but can't a laptop. Should I get 10.5-inch iPad Pro? I think it should. I think it's a basic laptop replacement. For the most part, an iPad is really, really good, with a few exceptions of replacing a laptop. My parents have replaced their laptops with iPads, no problem. They're teachers. They use their iPads now all the time, and they don't use laptops very much anymore. There's plenty of ways iPads can replace a laptop. There's a couple things laptops can do, of course, that an iPad can't, but for the most part, consuming media, listening to music, writing emails, writing documents, that's all great on an iPad. And even some other things like video editing and sound design are making their way onto the iOS App Store, which is great. Jack BBB says, is the iPhone 8 worth the price? Well, again, we have no way of knowing because it's not out yet, but I hope that it's worth it. I still think starting price, I'm guessing, is going to be $1,200. And the worth it question is a tricky one, because honestly, it's worth it if you're willing to pay for it. That question changes depending on your current financial status, such as, like, if you have an income of 40 grand a year and you don't have student loans, or you're not in debt or anything, then $1,200 for a phone you're going to use 4 to 5 hours a day every day of your life, yeah, that's a good deal. But if you are a student in high school and you don't have a job, or you're in college and you're using financial aid or paying off student loans, and you're having to pay for more things, if you don't have a job, if you don't have a car, if you don't have basic things like that, then no, $1,200 is definitely not worth it. So that's that's why the worth it question is kind of a variable one. It varies from person to person. For me, it is worth it because I run this YouTube channel, which is Apple sheep primarily. That's the main target audience here, and for the most part, yeah, it's worth it to me because I'm gonna get a lot of clicks out of it. You guys want to see the review. A lot of people count on me for my opinions on things, and I can already kind of tell what my initial reaction will be with the iPhone edition, but we'll see that when we get there. Apple stated there would be a Mac Pro with so much customizability. Do you think they are crazy and just released the iMac Pro in its place and thinking a little hinge on the back for RAM is custom? No, Simply Tech. The report saying that they were working on a new redesigned Mac Pro was very specific. They said that at the end of this year, as in at the end of 2017, there will be a new redesigned iMac, and then after that, they were working on a redesigned Mac Pro. So these were completely separate products, and they did tell us that there would be a new iMac at the end of the year, and now we know what it is. But the Mac Pro, I think people are getting overhyped about. I think they're assuming that because it's modular and because it's upgradable, that for some reason is going to last them longer, and it'll be a cheaper situation because you can upgrade the internals, where in reality I think that Apple may be designing modularity, but the modules themselves are going to be required to be Apple certified, or keep in mind that there's certain parts of a computer you can't replace, and probably with a Mac Pro, you'll be able to upgrade maybe of course, the graphics card and the RAM and the solid state, but maybe not the processor because Apple will ingrain that into the motherboard, and it's most likely you won't be able to exchange out the motherboard unless you get really creative. So if all that is true, then it means that if you're waiting all this time to save up for the Mac Pro, it's probably not going to be much cheaper at all. In fact, by the time you upgrade the parts of it you need for it to be worth it, it's going to be just as much of an investment as an iMac Pro. Waiting the time for the iMac Pro to age and get slower and for there to be better things, and buying a new one is probably not that much drastically different in terms of spending money. You are wearing the same shirt as me right now, and OLED thoughts, and is a rich phase 2 coming soon? I don't know what that means. Okay. The chat's moving too fast. What do you honk about the iPhone 9 speculations? I don't honk at all. I don't drive a car about iPhone 9. Yes, 2 a.m. I'm trying to reach different demographics. I want to reach people who are overseas in different times. Have you used AirPods with your Apple Watch, and is it good? I have actually, but not only on rare occasion, because you can sync all your Apple Music onto your watch and then use the AirPods that way. But it did work very well. Yeah, you could just change the source and you could just decide it came from the Apple Watch. Yeah, it works great, but I don't do it very often. You should go on the Discord. No, we are on Discord. For those who don't know, there's a link to the Discord. We now have a chat room for Tailosive Tech on Discord, and if you go on Twitter, there's a link on how you can join it. Anyone can go in. It's free and it lasts forever. Love from South Korea, Drew. I love your vids. Thank you, Creator. Okay, do you think an Apple TV like with a screen is a good idea? An Apple TV like with a screen? Or are you saying like a television actually designed by Apple? I feel like that's a market they don't need to go into because there's so many displays already and they're partnering with other companies. But of course I would welcome it. I'm just sure that it would be really expensive and I would probably buy a cheaper one anyway. I wouldn't be that loyal to it. Yeah, the Discord happened. Check my Twitter. The link's right on there. I could find the link and add it to the chat, but that's too much work. Is the iPod Nano and Shuffle gone? Yes, Zach Stefano. They are officially gone. They have been pulled from the Apple Store. You can no longer buy them. I don't know if they're still available for sale in the actual retail stores. They might be, as they're just trying to ship them out and get rid of all of them because they have too many. But yeah, they've been pulled from the store. So now the iPod Touch is single-handedly the one last iPod. And I think that could be discontinued next year or sooner. Expect that anytime, and officially, iPod will be dead. Tomorrow's video, by the way, this is a little sneak peek. Tomorrow's video is on the iPod, the death of the iPods. And Obi was asking, is your main channel Tailosive or Tailosive Tech? Tailosive Tech is the tech channel. That's, you know, when we're talking with friends and stuff, I refer to that as the tech channel. The main channel is the channel that is simply called Tailosive, and that's where comedy sketches are made. There's movie skits over there. I'm working around the clock on content for that channel because that's where Tailosive all started. It's the oldest of the Tailosive network. And I'm working on a super secret project on that channel that I'm not even going to tell you the name of, so we have a code name for it called Project Photon. And production of Project Photon has officially just started today, and I'm very tired from it. It was a very extensive shoot, but that's all I'm going to say about it because I want to generate hype and I don't want to tell anyone what it is yet. I don't even have a set release date, but it's just a big project. You guys should all subscribe to just Tailosive. It's just the T with that is black instead of blue. That's where comedy sketches are. There's going to be new comedy sketches every Saturday, and of course Project Photon coming up soon, which is in the works. So please check that out. A lot of work's going into that channel. Please don't say you're ignoring me because there's 163 people watching. I can't answer all your comments. How long do you think Apple will continue? Asks Ashley Valentine. That's a deep question. It's hard to say because we've never had companies that have lasted like this long before. Companies that have like, how do you say, that have stayed like kind of a modern trend for like 30 years. That's a pretty long time for a company to stay relevant, and it's come close to failing, but then it was saved again. Now I almost feel like Apple is too big to fail. Like, if Apple made a flop, would we even know about it? Which is a decent question, I think, to consider. Like, if Apple made a product that isn't very good and we don't need it, all of the tech reviewers would buy it, all of the Apple sheep would buy it. Like, I think the sales of a product that isn't very good from Apple would still generate a profit. So we're almost to a point now where it's almost impossible to say that a product or an unveiling could kill Apple. It'd be very hard, but I do think Apple's gonna last well into this century. If anything, I place, if I had to say when, I would say like 2080s or 90s. They may become obsolete by other competing companies beating them at their own game. What do you think about iOS 11? It's great! I love it. Are you going to buy the HomePod and use it day-to-day use? I don't know if I'll use it day-to-day use because I don't have one yet, and I'm going to see if it's worth it. But yes, I'm definitely buying the HomePod. That is a yes. There are many yes things happening in terms of what Apple products I'm reviewing. For one, iPhone Edition. That is priority. I have the money for that already. It's set aside. It's just a matter of the unveiling. Basically, as soon as they announce the price, my money is gone instantly. So the iPhone Edition, the iPhone 8, whatever you want to call it, that is happening for sure. Second thing is, if there's a new Apple Watch this year, the Series 3 that has smart bands or has glucose monitoring, expanded battery life, or cellular connectivity, whatever the Series 3 is, I'll be buying that and reviewing it, okay? That is a given. I'm going to get a new Apple Watch this year if they unveil one. If they don't, then obviously I won't. HomePod is the third one. I'm definitely buying a HomePod as soon as it's available to review for you guys. That is a for sure thing happening. The one 50-50 chance thing, though, is the iMac Pro. I really want it because it's a top-notch computer, and because of things like Project Photon, I need computers with more editing power and more storage. So I want it, but the thing is, it's so absurdly expensive that the success of my YouTube channel is going to determine whether or not I will buy it. It might be good enough. The success of the channel might bring enough income so that I can afford the iMac Pro. It might not. Income might go down and it won't happen. So I'm not going to say it's a for sure thing. The iMac Pro is not a for sure thing happening, but those other three things are. What is Project Photon? It's the top secret project on the Tailosive main channel. So that's just the regular old Tailosive where the comedy sketches are. I'm working on big projects for that channel. That's what Project Photon is. Because I don't want to tell anyone the name of it because the name of it is a spoiler and I want to generate hype, but I can tell you it's exciting, it's going to be good, you're going to like it. So please subscribe to that channel if you haven't yet so that you can see it when it comes out. Apple Kit interconnected with Tesla in the future? I hope so. I know that Elon Musk uses an iPhone, so I'm sure that he would be on board with Tesla and Apple iOS, kind of combining software so they work together. But for the most part, I haven't heard anything of that right now because I don't own a Tesla, so I can't say much about it. Everyone says that HomePod looks like a toilet paper roll, and no one talks about Alexa. Looks like a Pringles box. What's wrong with looking like another object? It's just focus on how it works. If it works good, I don't care what it looks like. Okay, well, to an extent. As long as it doesn't look terribly ugly, it's fine. Google Pixel looks terribly ugly. If Apple made a gaming console, would you get it? Depend on price. I'm not much of a gamer, but I would like to, because most gaming consoles are like $400, $300, right? Like the most expensive one, the Xbox One X, that's like $500. The Apple one would probably be more than that. If it was like $600, that's still pretty cheap for an Apple product. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say yeah, but they're not going to make one. Which Apple Watch ring is the hardest / last that you complete? To be honest, the stand goal is actually one I've had problems with in the past. Like sometimes when I sleep in, and I'm working on editing projects, I won't stand up when I'm supposed to. I haven't actually had that problem recently, but good question, by the way, about activity rings, because I've been, ever since June 1st, I've been closing all 3 of my rings every day, no matter what. I did it yesterday. It's midnight now, so we're already working on tomorrow's rings. But the move goal is also really hard because you have to burn, obviously, the most amount of active calories, so that's a little tricky. But for the most part, back in the days where I was sitting a lot and working on videos, I had a hard time hitting the stand goal because, after a certain number of hours, it's already over. If it's 10 o'clock at night and you only have 7 hours in, it's like, well, what's the point? I can't close the ring. Anyway, iMac Pro or iMac 2017 top end. iMac Pro, I've said it before, that's going to be the better buy. It comes with a display. It's going to have, it has all those ports. It's very capable. It exists. I'm going to say iMac Pro wins. Do you ever use the Breathe app on the Apple Watch? No, I do not, Darvin, no. Do you think Apple will release a second generation of AirPods? There are no current rumors saying that is true, so I'm going to say no, there is not one coming out this year. I feel like we would have heard about it if they did, but keep your eye open. I think if there was a new generation of AirPods coming out, we'd be hearing about it. And to be fair, there wasn't like a new generation of EarPods coming out every year back when we just had EarPods. They didn't change much from the iPhone 5 anyway, so it's fair that they don't update AirPods every single year. They should really just focus on making them in more colors and making them faster so that they can ship them out faster, because 6 weeks is terrible. There needs to be more colors. Should I buy a MacBook Pro with Touch Bar 15-inch or the $600 cheaper 13-inch, or just ditch the Touch Bar? The reason I went with the 15-inch was literally because I wanted the dedicated graphics card, which ultimately I did need to edit certain things I wanted to on here. This is my primary editing device. I don't use anything else. So in that instance, yes, the dedicated graphics card was worth it because I was using programs like Adobe After Effects and Adobe Premiere, and I was hoping to eventually do some gaming on it for the Tailosive gaming channel. Even though I'm not much of a gamer, I just wanted to have that option. But if you're using it for basic video editing, if you're not editing with Premiere or After Effects, you're editing with Final Cut, you're editing 1080p footage, I think the 13-inch would do you just fine. It would be a lot more portable. I don't like how bulky this thing is. I design-wise think the 12-inch MacBook is the best looking one, but I needed the extra power. That's why I invested in the larger option. Did you test or play with the Nintendo Switch? No, I haven't. I have no interest in Nintendo. I think they're a little overrated. I guess I just don't have that loyalty that most people do. They're big fans of Zelda. They're big fans of Mario. I didn't have that in my childhood, so I just look at it as really crappy graphic games, and I'm not a gamer to begin with. So the idea of a console that you take with you for inferior specs is really stupid to me, because I don't even have consoles. So why have a crappier one that you can take with you that's more expensive? So that's why I'm not a Nintendo interested guy. I'm not interested in that. Do you still have the 12-inch MacBook, or did you sell it? I returned it on Amazon. I didn't sell it. I needed something with a lot more editing power like this, because the 12-inch MacBook simply couldn't do it for me. I needed some more power. But my parents both have 12-inch MacBooks. Both of them have the space gray versions, and they got them just a couple weeks ago. They got the ones that came out at WWDC. They have the 2017 version of the 12-inch MacBook. So I still have access to the 12-inch MacBooks, which are my favorite MacBook. I think they look great. I will pay for your trip to come to Dubai. Please come. Well, prove it in Super Chat. MacBook with touchscreen in the future? It's gonna be a while, because I think we'd hear about it if Apple was planning on merging macOS and iOS. I don't think they'd be interested in just adding the touch support and not changing macOS as it is. I think that wouldn't be optimized, and that wouldn't work very well to be tapping on this. I think that's something people think they want, but it's not actually something we really want, if we really break it down and look at more about how people use Windows 10, and for the most part not using the touchscreen very often. I see questions about Project Photon. I'm just telling you, I'm not going to tell anyone what it is, even if people guess correctly, and I haven't seen a correct answer yet. But even if people guess correctly about Project Photon, I wouldn't tell you, because that's part of the surprise. That's kind of the cool part about having a secret project. I haven't done this before, and I just want to generate hype about what Project Photon is. It's a secret thing, but there is a message within Project Photon. So you could, all I'm saying is that Photon was not a randomly picked word. It's because this is fun for me. I like making secret projects and working on big things that are yet to be announced. I did pick that word very precisely because it does directly relate to what the project is. Anyway, what do you recommend to a college student? iPad or MacBook or Windows laptop? Oh, Artelin, definitely not a Windows laptop. That's not worth it. I'd recommend an iPad. I made it through college with the iPad in my Apple Pencil. I took notes on that. I could take pictures of worksheets the teachers handed out. That was always great. I typed essays on it. I did PowerPoints on it. It was a really great overall college product, and obviously iPads are significantly cheaper. You can get the 2017 iPad for $330, especially you college students who have no money, because college is expensive. I get it. And I went through a basic community college, and that ripped me off like crazy. You had to buy your own equipment. It's you got to buy your own Scantrons. You got to buy your own printer paper. You can't print there for free. And that was like a basic community college, and they stripped my money. They wouldn't let you buy used textbooks. They've worked out a way now that you have to buy it new, and there's no way to buy it used. And I lost money, and you couldn't sell the newer textbooks back because they've worked out this thing. I haven't talked about this in a long time. I think what's it called? It's called it's the points. There's when you buy a textbook, when you buy a college textbook now, it gives you an access code that grants you the curriculum that the teacher requires you to take. That's homework. And you can only use that code once, so you can no longer sell that book to someone else, because now it is useless, because it has not opened the online homework. So, the textbook industry has figured out a way to make sure that no one can sell textbooks used anymore. It's just awful. The college atmosphere has found a way to rip off all college students. It was one of the reasons I didn't want to go back to college, is that I was losing so much money. It was... and I wasn't gaining anything out of it. It was a waste of time. But just to remind everyone, for Project Photon hype, it's not a tech channel thing. It is definitely exclusive to the main channel. All I'm saying is that I'm spending a lot of time on it, and I'm spending a lot of work on it. It's in production, but it's definitely a main channel thing, which is just Tailosive. It's not a tech thing. It's not related to technology. Okay. Tesla should build their battery factory to Finland. Yeah, they should build them everywhere. The more the merrier. Apple making drones in the future? I don't think so, just because they're already partnering with DJI, so I don't see why would they need to do that, because they already have so many drones built into their Apple stores already. I don't think they need to make their own. Have you ever been to New York City? I have not. I would like to, though. It sounds like a cool place, and I hope I go there at some point in my life. I have not traveled that much in my life. I need to more. Luckily, my girlfriend Louise has gotten me to travel lots of different places. Well, mainly just one. But she gets me out of my comfort zone because, for the most part, I'm not a person who goes out of his way to go on big trips, and she likes to travel. Louise has been all around the world twice. She's literally circled the planet, going to Europe and Vietnam and back to Australia and back to here, California. I visited my girlfriend Louise in Florida, which was completely out of my comfort zone. Like, I'd never gone on an aircraft alone before I visited my girlfriend. So that was a big step out of my comfort zone, but of course she was worth it. So I haven't traveled to a lot of places, but I hope I do in the future. Would you buy a 5K iMac or the iMac Pro? Definitely the iMac Pro. I'm not interested in a 5K iMac. Like, don't think that if I can't afford the iMac Pro, then I'll just buy a higher end 5K iMac. Like, I go big or go home. I need the space gray. I will not have a silver iMac next to my space gray MacBook Pro. The only reason I want the iMac Pro is the black Magic Keyboard and Magic Mouse. That's the only reason. That's mostly kidding, but it's a little bit true. Thoughts on other premium electric cars and mid-range ones by Nissan and BMW? There's other competitors out there. I just don't think that anyone comes close to the amount of innovation and originality that is Tesla, because I think Elon Musk is a part of it. He has so much ambition, and for people to say that you can't start an electric car company up, and for him to do it and for it to be successful to a point where the Tesla cars are becoming affordable, there's just such a huge amount of innovation and good ideas at Tesla. That's why I think they're leading the industry right now. There's competitors, but they're just not as good. Are you going to buy both the 7S and iPhone edition? No, Creator. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to buy the edition. I don't think I can afford to buy both. What if Apple buys DJI like they did with Beats? Oh, well, that changes everything. That they would own DJI. I don't. Who cares? Why would that make a difference? DJI would just keep selling drones, and they'd still be partnered with Apple. So, there you go. That can happen. Any thoughts on iPhone sales drop in China? No, it's probably just because there's probably better deals there, and China puts import tariffs on the iPhone, so they're more expensive there, and they like Xiaomi, the different companies they have available there. It's not a big deal. Do you think there will be any new colors for the upcoming iPhone? Stitch? No. I think the rumors are saying that there's going to be extremely limited colors for the iPhone edition, but I'm okay with that because I know it's coming in black. And honestly, if the edition only comes in black and it comes in nothing else, I'd be fine with that. It might be one of those things like back in iPhone 4 days, when they first unveiled it, it was only available in black, but then like 6 months through, that's when they unveiled the white color. Maybe with this, we'll see that later on. They'll unveil the white, the rose gold, and product red, all that. But at first, it'll just be jet black, and I'm fine with that. That's the one I want. Why is your wall green? This used to be my older sister's room. She doesn't live here anymore. She's married and has a baby on the way up in Washington. But back when she was in this room, green was her favorite color, and this was a much more high school teenage girl looking room than the tech museum that it is now. And back then she painted it green, and when she moved out, I wanted her room because my room didn't have a door. Like, people literally had to walk through my room to get to their room, so I had no privacy. So when she moved out, I wanted a door so that I could, record, live stream, listen to music, do things like this. So that's why I'm here. And know. I haven't decided yet if I want to paint it. I feel like it would be a lot of work and it wouldn't make much of a difference. Painting this room would be a trick. I thought about it, but it would definitely be like a weekend job. It would take a long time, and in the end, I don't know if I'll be moving out anytime soon either. So that's why I'm kind of on the fence about painting it. I don't know if I'll be living here for 3 more years or 2 more years or 6 more months. I just don't know. So that's why I'm not too set on remodeling everything and making it all perfect and nice. So someday it'll look good. Isn't it true that the older sibling should get to pick the room? Yeah. Well, I mean, she did. She did get to pick this room. She wanted this room because no one walks through here. This is the end of it. Our house was built really weird. There's like 3 bedrooms in a row and a door in all of them. So to get to this room, you have to walk through the first 2 bedrooms. I originally had the first bedroom, so both my sisters had to walk through my room to get to their room, so there was no privacy. And in this room, no one walks through it. So, but it is an attic, technically. There's not insulation in here, which means that it's very hot in the summers and very cool in the winters. It's just not a temperature collecting room. And just not having the fan on right now is making me sweat. Like I'm all sweaty right now, just because I want the audio to sound nice. What happened to that jet white iPhone that was rumored? Yeah, I don't know about that. You should start making Tailosive posters. It's funny you say that. I never made official, like, printed out Tailosive posters, but I did design them. Like, I photoshopped them. In fact, if you don't mind, I might just bring them up. I still got the chat open. Don't worry, I'll still answer questions. But I'll bring up those. I'm bringing them up because I'm very proud of them. Back when we made the Tailosive Cinematic Universe, we made a lot of posters for that channel. But I could also start making posters for the tech channel and all the channels, really. But I made a lot of posters, actually. There's for the different characters in the TCU. There's one for Dr. Antagonist, and all this text is all his different lines he had. There's Gregory Skullface, who like never talked at all, so the quotation marks is just ... silence. There's the thumbnail for Justice Man versus Volunteer Cop. That's me. That came out April of last year. There's Justice Man. It says he's here to shoot bad guys, and well, that's it, which is pretty much his character. There's me. That's Justice Has No Salary. That's Volunteer Cop. So yeah, we had lots of posters, but we never printed them out. I definitely should figure out a way to sell them. Where did Tailosive name come from? Episode 7, Hello World, on Tailosive Talks. I explain it. Do you ever use the touch bar? It looks awesome, but it's like $500 more. Is it worth it? If it breaks your bank, if it's a hard thing to afford for you, then no, don't make the touch bar a support. But I needed the 15-inch MacBook Pro anyway, so I had to get the touch bar. But it's not so much the touch bar I'm a fan of as the fingerprint reader. Like the fact that when you're installing software on your Mac, you can authenticate with your fingerprint. That makes so much more sense than having to type in your password all the time. And opening your Mac, just putting your finger on the Touch ID sensor and it unlocks instantly. That's far better than entering a password like you do on other MacBooks. So for me, that's far more worth it. Will there be any more Hello World or Live Live? Yes, the Hello World series is not gone. It's just in pause. I want to develop more ideas so that I have more topics. There's lots of ideas I have for Hello World, but there's other projects right now that are taking up my time, and I can just guarantee you that at all times you can assume I'm working a full-time job on YouTube. It's not just entirely tech videos. Like I'm working on the Tailosive Unboxed, I'm trying to vlog, I'm trying to make Saturday shorts now on the main channel as well as Project Photon, so there's plenty of things keeping me busy, and there's still things I'm not able to do that I want to do. Like I wish I could do movie reviews, but I just don't have time for it. It's okay. You can ask if I have. You can ask those personal questions. This is my full-time job. I've been working full-time on YouTube for 2 months now. I quit my job at a mandarin ranch in May. That was what I used to do full-time, and YouTube was kind of a side gig. But luckily, YouTube has picked up traction to now where Google sends me checks that are big enough to live off of. And you guys are making that possible, so thank you very much. Okay. What do you think about the Apple Watch Series 3 edition will be made from? Obviously, I have no idea. They might just make another ceramic one that has all the Series 3 features. But my idea would be great for the Apple Watch Series 3 is that instead of having a different material like glass sealing with aluminum like we have now, or glass sealing with stainless steel, my idea is that what if you got sapphire glass, so it's really durable, just wrapped around the entire device. So the whole Apple Watch is made of sapphire glass, so it's super durable, but then instead of having that seam where the glass meets the unibody, it's all one piece. All the components are on the inside. I thought that would look a lot cooler, and it would be fairly durable when scuffed because it's sapphire. But that's just my idea. I know they're not going to do that. They're going to do whatever they want. There might not be an addition. Who knows? Would you ever take a job at Apple? Well, I feel like I already have a job at Apple. I feel like I'm their defense attorney. Like, whenever they do something wrong, I have to defend them. It's just the wrong company is paying me. I wish Apple would watch one of my videos and be like, this kid is going to defend us no matter what. We should just support him. And not financially. I wouldn't want Apple to just send me money. I would actually prefer it if they just sent me all of their products, like before they came out, so that I would have a chance to review them, tell everyone why they're worth it, and then that would save me money because then I wouldn't have to buy all their products. But I would definitely have to work in a marketing department if Apple did hire me. So I feel like I already am working for Apple. It's just Google's paying me to hate them because I talk about how terrible Google is, but they're the ones sending me the check. So it's just weird. Drew Erickson, Ace Attorney. Yep, definitely. What if they made the iPhone Chrome like the old iPods? The old iPods look terrible. That Chrome is all scraped up and fingerprint ridden. I hope they don't do that. What PC would you buy if you didn't have Macs? Probably the Razer Blade Stealth. I think that's a good looking laptop. But it runs Windows, so I hate it. What other tech YouTubers would you like to collab with? MKBHD, which I know probably will never happen, but I wouldn't want to partner with someone who agrees with me on everything. I think it would be far more interesting if a YouTuber who has a lot of disagreements with me, and I think MKBHD and I would disagree on almost everything, and I think that would be a good discussion we could have together. But no, I don't expect that to happen. What are your thoughts on the Pixel 2 iPhone killer rumors? It's stupid. It's a joke. I think the Pixel 2 is going to be like bad both on iPhone comparisons and as well as like it's going to be bad in terms of Android phones as well. I think they're going to expand the display, but for the most part it's still going to have the biggest bezels of the year. The Galaxy S8 is going to wipe the floor with it. It's still going to be a better buy. And the Note 8 is going to steal all thunder for best Android phone of the year, not the Pixel 2. The Pixel 2 has nothing to do with it. Last year, the Note 7 got, of course, all the hate for being explosive, so that didn't really stand up to the Google Pixel, but I'm pretty sure this year that Samsung has it figured out. When Samsung unveils the Note 8, it's going to blow everyone away. It's going to have that gorgeous display, edge-to-edge, infinity display, enormous, with dual camera, waterproofing, fingerprint reader on the back, all those great things. And the Google Pixel will just be a flat-out joke. Yeah, it'll blow everyone away. No pun intended. What is the point of this live video? I answer questions. I don't know. Why'd you click on it? What were you hoping for? Cereal of choice? Ooh, Honey Nut Cheerios. I do agree with MKBHD on that. I love Honey Nut Cheerios. I'm still subscribed to him. I don't hate him. I watch every one of his videos. Which iMac Pros are the best bang for the buck? The cheapest one. That's a good bang for the buck. I don't even know if that's a good bang for the buck because it's very expensive. Why didn't Apple release a silicone case for the iPad Pro 10.5? Yeah, I don't know. I noticed that. They didn't unveil the back cases. They're just doing smart covers. And there's not enough color options. Apple always needs more options. I think that's probably one of their biggest weaknesses. When did you become an Apple sheep? When I was born. I became an Apple fanatic because that's all my dad used. All the old retro computers in my videos back here were bought by my dad. It just runs in the family. It's a ongoing tradition that our family just supports Apple. That's what we use. He always used that ever since he was in high school. Well, guys, it's getting a little bit late. I'm very, very tired because of all the work on Project Photon today. And you've got a new video coming up tomorrow, so thank you for this live stream. Thank you for your donations. I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question. It's very hard to answer everyone's. If you jump out of your window, I'll donate $100. Let's do one before the other. Donate $100 and jump out the window. A little bit late, man. It's 2:30 a.m. Well, here it's 12:30 a.m. So it's pretty late. But thank you guys for watching this one. I'm hoping that I can reach a wider demographic this time. So thank you all for watching. Oh, wait, we got a donation. News.Charles says, please stay for 5 more minutes. Okay. Well, because of your super chat, news, we'll stick around for 5 more minutes. Let's answer a couple more questions. Do you think Google phones necessary? No, not at all. I don't think Google should make phones. I think they're bad at making software. What were you getting educated on at college? What is your favorite subject? That's a difficult question because I really hated every class in college. That's why I'm not there anymore. Let's see. What I was shooting for when I went into college was to get a major in business and a minor in film because I like video production and I like making like actual acted scripted movies. That's what the main channel is. That's more my passion, and my tech interest is more of a side thing, but now that's my full-time job. I'm totally fine with that. I can talk about tech all day. But it's fueling my passion to create movies. And I'm always been kind of a business guy to begin with because I've had my own business since before I was in high school. I like mowed lawns around town for money in summer, and that's how I raised money. So I've always been kind of an entrepreneurial guy, so it made sense to go for a business degree, but all the classes I took were useless. I didn't have like any good teachers. I was taking mass media and society. I was taking the required GE things with English, and I was taking web design. I was taking video production. I ended up teaching the video production teacher how to do a lot of things, and I also ended up the web design class was a complete joke. They were teaching us Adobe Dreamweaver, and all the websites you could create on there looked terrible. I already had a website at the time that looked infinitely better than the ones we were designing in that class, and even when you were done with the web design class and you had the final website developed, it looked horrible. The business classes I took were not insightful. It was all listen to the teacher or listen to the teacher play a TED Talk. So I just had a bad experience overall with college, and I'm sure that if I went to a different college or a better college with more money, that maybe my experience would have been different, but I was just not interested in risking that chance because it's not like I had nothing better to do. The difficult thing about that decision was that it wasn't like, oh, I've got nothing better to do, I guess I'll go to college. It's like there were clearly other things I could be working on because the YouTube channel was doing well. There was a Mandarin ranch that I worked on for several summers, and they were looking for workers. So, and I preferred working. I preferred working on a ranch to sitting in a classroom all day because I like making money more than I do sitting in a classroom listening to someone try to be entertaining. So, it just wasn't my thing. College is not unnecessary. There are definitely some careers that need it, but it was not necessary for me. I wanted to work, so that's what I pursued, and I don't think there's much of a scenario that would result in me going back to college. YouTube seems to be going pretty good. It continues to grow, which is a good thing. So if it all crashed and burned, I think I would still go back to the Mandarin Ranch before I would go back to school because I enjoyed that much more than sitting in a classroom. Okay, and your next donation, news, was a best piece of advice for young tech YouTubers. Simply make videos. Don't wait for the right equipment. Don't wait, sorry, did I say a weird word there? Don't wait for the right circumstances in which you are free to say, well, I want to make videos, but I don't have a lot of time right now because I'm working. Just push yourself, make time in your schedule. If you have time to watch movies, you have time to make them. And you can run a whole YouTube channel on your iPhone. So don't try to say, I can't make a YouTube channel because I don't have a camera, I don't have a laptop, I don't have good internet. There's plenty of excuses, but all of those are just words keeping you from doing something great. And you're not going to make great YouTube videos until you start trying. Yes, I dropped out of college. I have not gone back. College versus trade school. Trade school are year or less your opinion. Trade schools are much better because they can be a lot more specified in what they're teaching, but I've personally never gone to one. So I'd probably have all the I'd probably have all the same complaints if I went to a trade school. I'd say like, well, this doesn't apply to this, and a classroom can only move as fast as its slowest student. So I don't care. I'm not going to a trade school anytime soon. Do you care in the slightest about the Sony Xperia? No, don't know what it is. What do you watch on Netflix? The only thing I watch on Netflix are two things: Parks and Rec and The Office. That's it. There's nothing else. The thoughts on Apple killing off the iPods will all be explained in tomorrow's video, which will be coming up soon. Which just in about 7 to 8 hours, you'll get a new video. Do you like Game of Thrones? Nope. Tried to watch it. Thought it was boring. Don't like it. That's not an unpopular thing. That's the thing I've noticed about Game of Thrones fans. They usually get very defensive if you've never seen it. That may be a stereotype. I'm sure not all of them are like that. But typically it was like, you haven't watched... Oh, it's so good. It's like, look. Some people aren't interested in things like that. I get that not everyone likes iPhones. I get that not everyone likes The Office and Parks and Recreation, even though I think that's some of the best screenwriting of mankind. I think the Jim and Pam love story is the greatest love story ever told. Not just in writing, not just on film, that's everything. But I get it. Not all of you agree with that. You Game of Thrones fans should just understand that we're not interested in sitting down for 40 minutes to hear people talk about things going on somewhere else. I tried to watch Game of Thrones. It's just not interesting. Yes, Jim and Pam is amazing. There's not a better love story. There's not one that's more intricate about, Jim being interested in Pam, but she's being engaged, but she's feeling forced into this relationship. And then as the season develops, he admits her love for her. Then she calls off her wedding, but then he's with someone else, and then they come back. Then Pam wants her. It's just the longest and most in-depth love story of any tale, because even when they get married and have children, they go through struggles in the marriage, which is far more realistic than classic Romeo and Juliet. Oh, I love you, I've met you for 24 hours. It's stupid. I hate most love stories, but the Jim and Pam one is so intricate, so real, so believable. There's nothing that compares to that. Game of Thrones is stupid. I said it. Are you watching Shark Week? No, I don't watch Shark Week. I don't watch much of anything. Romeo and Juliet is more intricate. Oh, that was stupid. I might just ban you for that. Romeo and Juliet is the stupidest thing I ever had to read. I was forced to read it. Stranger Things is great. I'm super pumped for season 2. Long Live the Walking Dead. No, that's boring too. Everyone said it wasn't as good after season 1, who I was talking to, and I didn't like season 1, so I'm not a TV show guy. I'm not into dramas. I'm into fast food. I like McDonald's. I like Taco Bell. I like my comedy shows to be 20 minutes long, and I want to laugh at least every 5 minutes.